Aloha, everyone. Aloha. Thank you. Okay, on the count of three, when I say aloha, you're going to shout it back out to me so I know you all are looking at me. Ready? Aloha. Oh, beautiful. Mai ka'i, mai ka'i. Before I begin our session here, I wanted to make a quick announcement. For those of you that will be attending our RRC night out, the location to meet for the bus pickup will be at 801 Mount Vernon Place, NW, Washington, D.C. That is a convention center. We do have to meet there at 4:45 p.m. I heard it's about a 15-minute walk, but it would be more like a 20-minute walk for me. So Uber it is. So just wanted you all to know that, okay? Greetings and welcome all once again. I wanted to start off the meeting by introducing a special guest. But before I introduce her, I wanted to also recognize a few other special guests. And those are our past national presidents. If you are in the room, will you please stand or raise your hand so we can recognize you? Mahalo nui loa for your service. Another special recognition goes to our outstanding certified CRS instructors. Without you, we wouldn't have education. So please, if you are one of our fabulous CRS instructors, please stand as well. Mai ka'i. When you entered the room, you were given a handout about appropriate event conduct. If you didn't get one, I'm going to review a few of these statements and the meeting rules. So I want to emphasize the following. 1, this meeting is open to pre-registered attendees. 2, please minimize distractions during the meeting by refraining from side conversations or doing anything that can disrupt the flow. Number 3, help create a non-judgmental environment where all ideas have value and creativity is always welcomed. Number 4, the chair will manage the discussion to achieve the goals, or I have asked others to also chair some portions of this update as well. And if time permits, we will do Q&A. But we will actually be doing Q&A for our first vice presidents during that particular session. Now it is time. Oh no, wait, I forgot. I totally skipped my special guest. See, I was up at 12:30 a.m. Hawaii time. So if I did not make a mistake, it would not be me. So anyway, I ask for forgiveness. I might fade a little, but someone kick me. No, but I'm just kidding. Before we actually get to the candidates, I did want to introduce Tammy Sims, who is from Idaho, and she is going to kick off our meeting with giving us a bit of an inspirational message. But it's all about potatoes, I think. Take it away, Tammy.
What's potatoes got to do with it? Well, hello, welcome to 2024 May Midyear meetings. Can you guys believe it? I mean, raise your hands if you're as shocked as me that we're in 2024 and we're almost halfway through with it, right? As she said, I'm Tammy Sims, I'm the current Idaho president, and I'm excited to be here, and I want to share with you guys, my favorite part of these meetings is meeting people from other states, learning about them, and of course about their state. So I thought I have to start out with some facts about Idaho. And let me make sure I got the right clicker going here. There we go. Oops, one too far. All right, so first of all, I'd like to make sure you know where Idaho is, because everybody assumes that it's here, and that's Ohio. Anybody from Ohio? Or they think it's here, and that's Iowa. These three are mixed up quite a bit, but Idaho's way over here in the Pacific Northwest. We're a landlocked state bordered to the north by Canada, and we are surrounded by Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, and Montana. I knew there was one. We're known for our mountains, rivers, and streams, but what else are we known for? Potatoes. That's right, Idaho potatoes. So I'm from Boise, that's the capital of Idaho. We have the potato marathon every year. We also have, believe it or not, you can look this up, idahopotatodrop.com. New Year's, we have a big party, and at the strike of midnight, a giant potato falls ever so gently to the ground. We're also hosts to the famous Potato Bowl for you college lovers. We host that on our blue field at the Boise State University. So very proud to be born and raised in the Treasure Valley of Idaho. So I thought, where better to get some lessons for leaders of this caliber than from the potato field, right? So 5 leadership lessons I learned from living next to a potato field. First of all lies in the potato field itself. Leadership is like navigating through a potato field. You've got to dig deeper than the surface to unearth the real gems. It's not all about the lush green bushes and flowers. It's about getting your hands dirty and finding those hidden spuds of potential. Just as a good farmer knows that every potato is valuable under the ground, we know that every member has strengths and can turn a patch of dirt into a bounty of success. Second are the seed potatoes. Now, before I read this one, there is no such thing as potato seeds. For those of you that don't know that, you won't find them. It is a potato that's gone to seed or started to grow roots. So if you ever see a potato seed sprout roots, it's like witnessing leadership in action. If given the space to grow, they will set roots for others to thrive. Think of those deep-rooted veterans in our organization. They've got history, experience, and the potential to grow others. Let's not leave them buried in the soil of forgotten leaders. Instead, let's give them the space to support to keep on sprouting new shoots. Did you know that every seed potato will grow 5 to 6 potatoes before harvest? We all need some potatoes in our team to be successful. Next are the market potatoes. These are the ones you find at market that just need some scrubbing to thrive. These are the folks in our organization who are just waiting for their moment to shine. With a bit of guidance and a dash of encouragement, they'll go from dusty spuds to shining stars. A good leader needs to peel back the layers and reveal the brilliance within each member, providing opportunities for growth and development. Then you always have a few damaged potatoes. Maybe they're bruised. Have you ever come across a potato that's seen better days? Just like those beaten up spuds, some members may feel a little worse for wear when they come from another experience. This was me when I joined RRC. Fortunately for me, I was feeling a little beat up, but our current leadership grabbed me, cleaned me up, sat me at the table, and gave me opportunities to regain my confidence and see my value. So just as damaged potatoes can be salvaged by quickly cleaning them up and trimming off the damaged parts, individuals who have faced setbacks in previous roles can be revitalized and empowered to contribute their unique skills. And lastly are those baby potatoes. These were the tiny taters left behind, too small for the harvester to pick up. These were my favorite as a child. My brothers would look for the biggest potato they could find, and then usually they were rotten in the middle. They weren't very good. But I hunted these little baby potatoes after the harvester came through, like Easter eggs, to see how many I could get. And these are the members in our organization that may feel overlooked, and maybe that they don't belong. So these potatoes, they still possess value, and they have contributions to offer. These are the ones waiting to be tapped on the shoulder, invited to sit at the table next to you, and waiting for an opportunity to feel like they know where they belong. Just as no potato should be left behind in the field, no individual in our organization should feel excluded or marginalized. So I leave you with this, which many of you may have already seen at Celebration. If potatoes can become French fries, chips and vodka, you can be anything you set your mind on. So be a great leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. I hadn't realized that a potato could be so inspiring, so thank you. And one more thing. She has potatoes dropping out there. We in Hawaii have pineapples. Now, it's time to meet the candidates. I'd like to call upon Margie McIntyre from Nevada. I wanted to have one of our tenure members to moderate this session. Margie and I met many years ago at one of our RRC events, and I would say probably the welcome reception when I was Hawaii's RRC state president. And I remember Margie very distinctly because she has a very intoxicating smile. When you talk with Margie, she is very genuine, warm, and sincere, quite unforgettable. And I know that she has impacted many of you here in this room today. Therefore, I thought she was the most appropriate person to go ahead and moderate this session. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Margie, and thank you, Margie, for leading the session.
Oh, and the laugh. You can't forget her laugh.
I don't know that I can live up to this. Okay, so they gave me a script, and I'm going to pretty much follow it. There will be a little ad-libbing. So, but what I want to do first is I want to give you an opportunity to meet our board of directors candidates. There are 4 of them, and we are going to ask them to give a 3-minute presentation, and they'll be speaking from that podium over there, so I don't have to move and get out of my notes. Last year we did it in forward alphabetical order. We're going to do it in reverse alphabetical order this year. So without further ado, and oh, by the way, you are being timed on your 3 minutes, just to let you know. There will be a ding, ding, ding. And so Allison Winsome from Maryland, we'd like to have you come up and speak.
Here.
Please.
Not there. All right. Clearly, they don't tell you about reverse alphabetical order before this. Okay. I've always counted on being at the end of the alphabet. So, all right. I'm Allison Wisnum from Annapolis, Maryland, your candidate for the board of directors. And if I were sitting in your seat, I would be asking, will I be a productive member of the board? Because the RRC needs volunteers who are willing to show up, roll up their sleeves, and do the work. And that's what I've done as a 2-term RVP, now for 10 state organizations. And each state has needed something different from me, and I come willing to do my part. I worked with Montana to help rebuild their relationship with their state GRI program. For Oregon, I showed up, worked the trade show booth at their state conference to help recruit new members. In Washington, I jumped in and made renewal phone calls. I recommended hard but necessary budget changes, and I recruited 2 new excited leaders to their board. In Pennsylvania, I came earlier in the year, there they are, and hosted an RRC panel discussion highlighting their leadership team and the CRS brand at their state luncheon. In Maryland, D.C., I regularly use my relationships with my state and local boards and a local school, and we finally got CE credit for CRS courses for the first time ever. And then helped host the first CRS course in the state for CE. So whatever needs done, I'm happy to show up and do the work. And as an RVP, I've gained so much perspective about how unique each state is by listening to their leaders and members. And I look forward to bringing the collective voice of members to the board for the overall benefit of the council. And during this campaign, 2 themes have been repeated in my conversations with members. First, members want unity. And unity is the product of earned trust in leaders. And it's created partly by clear, consistent, and constant communication, with members knowing where we're going and why, and with every link in the chain doing their share. So we all owe that to each other. And I can tell you that this chaotic moment in our industry, I view as filled with opportunity. You might have heard a quote about chaos and opportunity at some point. I'm ready to do the work to make sure that the RRC brand rises at this critical time so that our members enjoy the benefits. As I said in my campaign video, if I could give members a new script, it would be this. The Residential Real Estate Council awards the prestigious CRS designation. That's one line, it's not hard to learn. The RRC is a welcoming organization with high standards for membership. We are a global real estate resource powered at the local level with all of you. And that allows our members and the council to lead by example in the real estate industry. So if you want to know...
Allison,
No.
your time is up. I apologize. I wanted you to finish that last bit, but...
It was a really good close. All right.
So Allison, you'll get a chance a little later at the meet and greet to finish up what you want. Okay, Marta Paulson from Idaho, please.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us. Thanks to the council for everything that they do for us, especially our wonderful staff. I wanted to talk to you today about stepping into leadership. I think all of us need to step into leadership even more. RRC and the success of RRC depends on supporting our foundation, and our foundation is education. We've got to support our presidents. Our state presidents are our boots on the ground. And the more that we can come and help them to be successful by helping them host events, by making every event special, that is the key to our success. And the reason I decided to step forward was because I had a conversation with a friend who said, I wonder who will step forward. And I thought about it for a long time, and I thought, I wonder who will step forward. And then I started thinking about it, and I thought, it's time for us to step forward. We have the most unusual circumstances right now in our environment, in the real estate industry, and it's tough for all of us. It can be demotivating. And I feel like RRC has an amazing opportunity right now to be the true leaders in the industry by providing our members, our designees, and all realtors with the toolbox, almost a survival kit, almost what are we going to do with this lawsuit that we've had with NAR? How are we going to succeed further? This is very important to me, and I just feel that we have an amazing opportunity to really stand out tremendously in our industry. The time is now for us to support our fantastic instructors who will custom tailor any sort of class for us. We can get them approved in each state through the commission as CE. And everything that we do should be special, very, very special. And we are the gold standard. I just feel so strongly about education. I traveled as a national speaker and have taught, and I have a lot of ideas that I would like to bring, and I think the biggest thing is bringing a toolbox. How are we going to be that light and get all of our designees what they need to succeed? And I would love to represent your voice on the board of directors. I have enjoyed my leadership journey, and I'm so proud and honored to be a CRS. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Marta. And now we'll have Julie Erickson from Alaska.
Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Erickson from Anchorage, Alaska, and I'd like to also thank the executive team and staff for all that they do behind the scenes for us. I'd also like to thank the Leadership Development Committee for bringing all of us to you today. So I'm from Anchorage, Alaska, and some of you may recognize me from my years of service in RRC. I was our state secretary, I was our programs chair, and I was our past president for 2 years. And some of you may recognize me as a past RVP. I was our past RVP for Region 12. In addition, I served 2 years on the Leadership Development Committee, and this year I'm on the Code of Conduct Committee. But what many of you may not know is what I do in Anchorage, Alaska for our community. I've been a Rotarian for 10 years, and 8 of those 10 years I've served on our board, and I jumped right into Youth Exchange as a host family, as a Youth Exchange officer, as a fundraising chair, and past president. We review our budgets every month to make sure we have the funds available for our objectives in our community and international outreach. I'm also on the board of the Providence, Alaska Foundation. I review their monthly budgets, which are multi-million dollars. We look for capital improvements. We're supporting those initiatives, looking for ways to fundraise for Providence and their outreach within our community and within the hospital. I'm also on the board for the North American Youth Exchange Council, and our members are in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And I am their marketing and communications chair. And I support our team with our CRM and all of our social platforms. And I support our conference chair. We just had our conference in Victoria, BC, and it was wildly successful. We had 500 participants versus last year 250. And so I bring all that experience to RRC, and I'm passionate about our members, our educators, our classes, our staff, I think are second to none. And I firmly believe that our biggest strategy is our members and the opportunity for growth. I see growth in the US, I see our global markets being able to be expanded, and I want to be front and center helping all of us bring those people along. And so I would sincerely appreciate your vote, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Julie. And now we'll have Rosemary Dosher from North Carolina.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rosemary Dosher, and I'm a candidate for the Board of Directors. I'm a realtor on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, which is as far east as you can go on the Atlantic Ocean. Years ago, you remember that we used to have state committee meetings here at RRC and for the national committees, and I served on all of those committees previously when we used to have state chapters and national meetings. What I bring to the table is my experience for RRC for the past 3 years. I've been a regional vice president for Region 4, 7, and 8, and I served 2 terms as North Carolina president and 2 terms as RVP, and also for our region and North Carolina CRS of the Year. I'm very active in our local association, state and national, and government affairs. I'm on the Housing Foundation. I feel it's very important to have that connection between your local and state associations with RRC, and people in my state know me as the lady from RRC, and they know that I am the connection to all of us. I was honored with Realtor of the Year twice by my association, and prior to being involved with RRC, I was very active in Women's Council. I was president twice for North Carolina, and I was also a regional vice president 2 terms for the WRC. I'm running because I've been an RVP for the past 3 years, and I've gotten to know a lot of the members, and our conversations have led me to understand we have some work to do to bridge the gap and make sure our members know how important they are to us and that their opinions count. I'm very transparent and inclusive leader, and feel the more people we have involved, the more our message gets out there. I was in favor of increasing our board of directors numbers, and I was disappointed that that did not come forward at these meetings. If you have ever served with me, you know that I do not hesitate to speak up and ask questions. I told the panel during my interview, if you're looking for a yes man, then that's not me. I do my homework, ask questions, and I'm not afraid to make the hard decisions. I want you to vote for me because you understand I know how important members are, and I want to see us get back to the #1 realtor organization and understand that CRS is not a few letters behind your name, but that we set ourselves apart from other realtors. When I received my CRS in 1995 in Miami at the National Convention, it was the highlight of my real estate career, and we can be those proud members again. People forget what you say, they forget what you did, but they never forget how you made them feel. My experience over the years with RRC shows my commitment to our organization and my passion to serve, and I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you to all the candidates who put your applications in and got chosen to run for board of directors. Good luck to you, and we really hope that you have a great experience in what you've done so far campaigning. I'd like to tell you that we're not having Q&As for the board of directors, but we will have a meet and greet after the meeting, and you can ask them all the questions you want at that point in time, okay? There's a lot of ways to get a hold of them, and it's all out there in the lobby with their phone numbers and everything, too. So now we're going to have the first vice president candidates, and Bonnie Metviner and from Florida, and Deborah Beagle from Tennessee. Would you please come up? So what we're going to do first is we're going to hear from each candidate. We're going to do it in the reverse order. They're going to give a 3-minute presentation introduction about themselves, and then we're going to have a 20-minute Q&A. The Q&A will be timed. I want you, when you stand up, to ask the questions, and by the way, your question will go to both of these candidates, and it will be about, you'll state your name and your phone number, or not phone number, your name and your state. You might as well give us your phone number too. What the heck, you know? Good for referrals, right? and then ask your question, please. Oh, and how many years you've been a CRS? That'd be great. So, and it goes for 20 minutes. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer your question, and then we will, at the end, pull this all together at the end for a 1-minute introductory or closing statement. So we're going to start with Bonnie Metviner.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can I take this off? Hi, my name is Bonnie Metviner, and I come from Florida. But as you know from my accent, I'm really not a Floridian. I'm really a New Yorker. So that's where a lot of my heart and my passion comes from. But I brought it all the way south to Florida because I transplanted with my family, my children, and my husband, and we became Florida residents. After becoming a Florida resident, I then became a realtor. I learned that I really like the passion of taking people into home ownership. My passion before was I was a dietitian. So I look at my passion as I came from your health and now to your wealth. So after getting my license, I realized very quickly that education is really very important. So when I got my license, I said, I'm only going to go to the best companies. So I interviewed with 3 companies and landed with Coldwell Banker. Been with them 21 years. And after getting my license, my manager that interviewed me said, hey, you remind me of myself. Go take the leadership class at the board. And that's where my leadership journey started. And I don't know if any of you remember Dory Longini. She was a longtime CRS and state president of our board at Florida Realtors. So in any case, my journey started with her, and I decided to get into the Leadership Academy, and I became the chair of the Leadership Academy in 2007 when Christine Hansen became president. So my journey started there, moved on up to a board of director in 2010, then traveled all the way up to board of director, secretary, treasurer, vice president, president-elect in 2017 when we merged with the board to the north of us. And I settled in a little bit as corporate director, regional vice president, and then I said, you know what? My time is now to travel up to CRS. And I became more involved with CRS, and in 2019, I became the CRS president-elect for Florida, and 2020, the president for Florida CRS. And who knew that COVID was coming and shut us down, and then we became Zoom presidents. Zoom, you know, it was like we learned something new. They say don't reinvent the wheel. Well, we had to reinvent the wheel. And in 2020, President Richard Waystack gave me the President's Award because I then became reinventing the wheel. And I am who I am. I like to share and care, and I like to grow the membership and the awareness. To me, the awareness of CRS is so important because we are the best of the best. And if we don't stand out there and tell everybody, we need to raise our brand, and we need to let everybody know to work with the CRS because we are the more educated, knowledgeable, passionate, and connected realtors out there. Then became regional vice president for Region 2, RVP, and I sat with that 7 states for 3 years because I didn't want to move on to other states. It was more collaborative. I can help them better if I was staying with them. Help raise their awareness, help grow their membership and their leadership teams. Well, I am so proud of what Susan has done with New York because she's brought it to the next level. And Jersey, and Pennsylvania, and Virginia, and Maryland, thank you all for making me proud of you. Next, I decided to become first vice president. But now I'm on the slate, so please vote for Bonnie Metfiner, your first vice president for 2025.
Thank you, Bonnie. That was very nice. So now we'll have Deborah Beagle.
Thank you, Margie. You're welcome. I'm Deborah Beagle from Nashville, Tennessee, and there's a quote that John Maxwell talks about. He's mentioned it often, that anyone can steer a ship, but it really takes a leader to chart a course. Throughout my career, I have grounded myself in mission and vision. The mission of the Residential Real Estate Council and the RRC, number one, education, the highest level of education. Number two, leadership development, providing a path for us to become leaders and have the voice at the table at the highest level. Number three, networking, business resources, and professional opportunities for all. When we ground ourselves in our mission, and then our vision is to be the premier business development organization for this industry. We are facing incredible challenges this July. And it takes a leader to chart a course. And how do you do that? How do you chart a course? You listen. You listen to all of our knowledge and experience that we have in this room and throughout our membership. You take that. You have discussions. You bring different voices, diverse voices, to the table to make decisions. In 2010, I was a single agent. I didn't have an assistant. The CRS was the pinnacle. The agents in my office that had that were the best of the best. I wanted that. I wanted that designation because it was the future of our industry to have the best agents in the business and to be a part of that. Over the last 15 years, I have grown my brokerage and my business to 190 agents, 42 employees, and I have served in different organizations. In 2019, I was tapped. I was asked, you'd be great serving, or 2017, I served at the state level, and then they asked, I think, national level. Even above the state level, I said, well, I haven't been a president yet. Consider RVP. And then somebody said, really, you bring to the table, why not board of directors? So I submitted and ran, and the members elected me to have a voice at the table and to bring a different perspective. I'm proud of what we did last year. We created a PAG, and we listened. We have a ways to go. We have a long journey to accomplish. And we are working through those things. Some things that I do want to recognize last year that I don't know if you realize, we listened, bylaws changes, we have the 30-day, now you can review those. We listened as far as the masterminds, we're looking at education committee, YPN committee, and so we're listening, we're chewing, and last year there was a lot that we had to work through. But sitting on the board of directors and knowing what we face in the industry, as a business owner with a lot of families to take care of, that we have to move forward. We have a window of opportunity as the RRC right now to be the leaders in this industry. We made changes to the bylaws to take committees off the bylaws so we can pivot, we can adapt. That is my super strength. Streamline processes, put processes in, and be able to move and adapt and pivot and innovate. We have to be at the front, at the highest level of excellence, and listen to the voices of our members. and pull us all together. I ask for your vote as first vice president for this organization, and this is a profound responsibility. I asked my staff, my agents, this is a commitment, and they said, do it. We want you to be and have a voice. So I ask for your vote for first vice president for 2025, and I will do and give my all to represent this organization at the highest level of integrity and have a voice at the table to make a difference in our industry. My resume is on the boards outside and the internet if you would like to see it, because it's everywhere. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Okay, so now we're going to open up this for Q&A. We have 20 minutes, so it's just about 10 after 2, am I correct? Because I'm still on Pacific Coast time. Anyway, so anybody with a question, if you would please, we've got a runner, or you can come up to the podium and ask your question. Make sure you introduce yourself and where you're from and how many years you've been in CRS. And your phone number. What the heck? Aren't we here to network too? Okay. Addie, please. And we're going to start with Bonnie.
Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you very much for stepping up to the plate. I know this is a pivotal time in real estate, and being brave enough to stand at that podium and know what we've got going on is a huge effort. So thank you to you. My question for you both is, what is your 5-year vision for the Residential Real Estate Council, and how are you going to get us there?
So part of my 5-year vision is to expand the board. I feel that we need to add 2 more directors to the board, and one being the RVP chair. We have a lot of RVPs, which are boots on the ground, the connectors to the presidents and the councils, and they are the one that can help collaborate between the RVPs and the board of directors. So that would be one person that I feel that should be added to the board. The other person should be an at-large member of the association of the council, because this way, and it would be each one a 1-year term, an addition of 1-year term, so that they could be rotated on and off. We need to have more voices on the board. More voices would feel that members are heard. And I feel that we need to be a little more collaborative, more transparent. I come from a member-centric board, 45,000 member board. I've served every position on that board, so I feel that I have the knowledge and the backbone to be able to bring us through the next 5 years of collaborating with others. In addition to that, my board has the next NAR president coming through. So how better collaboration could that be? An NAR president and an RRC president the same year, being from Florida and the same board.
So, and I touched on it when I spoke earlier, the vision for the next 5 years for the RRC. I would hope that, again, when I looked at this in 2010 as the pinnacle, the gold standard, this is what we need, this is what I needed for my career to take it to the next level, and it did. I am where I am today because of my CRS and those that asked and tapped me. So my vision for 5 years from now, 3 years from now, and we worked on the strategic plan last year, it's grounded in our mission and vision. And we need to, again, if we bring in the education committee, we can pivot, we can adapt. We've got to be innovative. We've got to bring in the best speakers, create celebration as the pinnacle of our industry that everybody is going to want to attend and hear and go to our site and learn and get their designation. And be the very best, and know that if they need the best business resources for real estate, they're going to go to crs.com. And they're going to take the classes, and they're going to work to get the designation. So in 5 years from now, and diversity and inclusion, we have to reach out and tap those around us that we see potential in and bring them into our organization. If we're not growing and we're dying. We've got to grow and thrive and bring in members that respect and want to learn from us. Everyone in here has so much knowledge and ability to encourage someone behind them to become a part of our organization and help us continue this forward. So in 5 years, I hope that we continue to elevate this to the highest level and be the premier organization that it is.
Thank you, you two. Okay, next question. I saw someone with a hand up over here in the corner. Anybody over here? I apologize, I don't know your name. But please announce yourself.
My phone number is, I am Rose, Pennsylvania, RRC. And I just wanted to know what you specifically, right out of the gate, what would you want to change? I agree with the membership thing, absolutely. I feel like we are working on that, and how do we get those leaderships in there? So what exactly out of the gate would you change?
Deborah, would you like to start,
Okay.
please?
Well, and that is truly a passion of mine, because I'm very, I do like committees that are very focused. I think you can get a lot of stuff done with a committee, and that was one of the reasons we moved it off bylaws to make committees so you could pivot and adapt. And I think, you know, having the ability to discuss, collaborate, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Could you repeat
Take
the
a
question
breath.
one more time?
Out of the gate, what would you want to change that we could actually...
And that, sorry, yes, out of the gate, that was the question. I wanted to be very specific with that. I think in stepping into higher leadership within the organization, I think we do need more processes and procedures put into place with what we have. We have some existing structures that I think just need to be more focused, and communication is critical. I have weekly meetings with my staff. I mean, you have to be able to have a safe space where everybody can bring their thoughts to the table and discuss. And I think my priorities would be, again, creating more communication, focus groups, the committees. Those are voices. Those are member voices that come and then come through to us. So that really, and leadership development. I think more leadership development training, and then I'm really about the committees and more focused. And the PAG has been working very hard, and these extra, if we added some additional committees, the YPN, that will give us more voices at the table to help the organization grow. So my focus is really what we have started this past year, and to continue that forward and expand it, and offer, again, for the state and the RVPs, just, we have manuals, but enhance them with more processes and procedures to give them support of what other states are doing and regions are doing where they're having success.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So you're fine. You made it right into the middle.
So one of the things that I said that I'd like to change is growing the board. The other item that I'd like to change is brand awareness. We need to have more brand awareness out there. Why work with the CRS? So as my board has made the why work with the realtor branding, why work with the CRS? We need to get it out there in the public. When we go on listing appointments, we want realtors, the sellers, to know what differentiates us from the other realtors out there. We are the best of the best. Now, we can start that with our leadership teams. We need to give them more training. We need to get them to know how to grow their sponsorships and how to grow their memberships, because if they don't grow their sponsorships and their memberships, they're not going to have enough money to do anything. So it's really, I mean, when I was state president, I was able to grow my sponsorships. People want to back you. If they believe in you, they're going to back you. And if you go out there and build the memberships, they're going to want to be with you. So it's about more awareness. Awareness is very, very important.
Thank you. Yes, Jennifer? And Bonnie, we'll start with you this time.
Hi, I'm Jen McClay from Arizona, and my question is, what is your greatest strength and how will the organization benefit from it?
My greatest strength is my passion and my experience. So I have a lot of experience in leadership. Actually, almost my entire real estate career is in leadership. So I got my real estate license in 2004. I got involved in my board in 2006 and became a board director in 2010. I have been active with my board in every possible position, leadership position possible, and I still remain active in my board on government affairs, interview candidates, and very, very important to be involved in your local community. And I think that's very, very important. That's what I bring to the table. My local commissioners, my county commissioners, I'm an FPC, they know me. They know they can call me and talk to me. It's very, very important.
Thank you, Bonnie. Deborah?
Thank you. My biggest strength is, and I teach and coach on this, is strategic leadership and growth. The ability to listen, bring all voices to the table in a safe space, and learn from the past and plan for the future, and utilize and follow our mission and vision. I always ground in our mission and vision and going forward and building strategic growth and recruiting and bringing in new members. And also, out of my 190 agents, I have 22 that hold their CRS, and I have another 44 that are in process of working it. So I lead by example, and I tap people and bring them to the table.
Great, thank you. Have got any other questions out there? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Ma'am, sir. Sorry.
Thank you. And again, thank you
ma'am.
to both of you for everything you have done and do. My question is,
Wait, who are you?
I'm sorry, you're right. I'm not gonna give you my telephone number, no. She wants it a lot. Okay, my name is Alma Betancourt. I'm from Florida. I'm the current communications leader for Florida. And I'm a CRS, of course. I've been a CRS for the past 3 years, 4 years, so I'm a newbie. My question is very, precise. Being a leader sometimes means to be the devil's advocate, although many people believe that we should say always yes. That's not reality, and we know that. We tend to upset some by saying no. So what are your specific plans or answers in front of a group that might or might not be divided by different interests? So what are your ideas to unite a divided group? Let's put it, you name it our nation, or you name it our networks, or you name it, what are your specific and precise ideas to unite a divided group with different interests?
I go first. Okay. And this is critical right now. I mean, it is truly critical, not just in our organization, but in our industry. We have to come together. And we have to have a leader that is going to pull us together, and our leadership team that's going to pull us together. In any decision you make today, you have to be truly, that we need to pull together and pull the membership together. And again, I go back to this. We know what our mission and vision is. I think everyone sitting in this room, the foundation of our organization, our pillars, we all agree on. How we improve and go forward is the question of pulling us all together. And we do that by listening to the voices and the communication and, focusing in on how we can go to the next level and learn from the past. So coming together, and I plead with all of you in here, regardless if I'm elected or not, we have to open our minds and reach across the table and find the commonality that we have in our mission and vision. And move it forward and listen and have those voices there say their thoughts, and we have the empathy and the dialogue to take it to the next level. So we, as leaders, and the biggest thing right now is we've got to come together. We've got to be solid in this room right here for July, and the window of opportunity that we have in this industry to reach out to others to see that we are the best and to jump on board with us and elevate their business. We have to come together here. Because if we don't start right in this room, how are we going to bring those others in?
Thank you, Deborah. Bonnie?
So I believe in collaboration, and I think one of the most important things is we need to start holding some more town halls. We need to have the members realize that we care about them and their voices are going to be heard. And in hearing and listening to the town halls, we can talk to them about what we want to bring forward, but we want them to have their voice heard as well. And when somebody feels that their voice is heard, they feel included. Inclusiveness is very, very important. As coming from a very large member-centric board, we've expanded our boards to regional boards so more people can be included. That's very, very important. If we need to expand and make other people feel included, that's okay, because everybody should be included. We are a council, and a council includes people. And I want to be here to hear your voice and what you have to say so that I can help make this brand awareness bigger and better. We are the PhD in real estate, and we want to bring it to the next level. And with these lawsuits right now, I go to all kinds of different meetings. I'm a master broker I go to master brokers, and we're all different real estate associations, all different brands, Cola Banker, Remax. It doesn't matter where we come from. It matters what we feel in our heart and how we can help other people. And that's what's most important.
Thank you, Bonnie. Any other questions? Yes, Miss Allison. Bonnie, you're first.
I'm not going to finish my speech. Such a jerk. All right. Now I forgot the question. How will you support the incoming leadership if you are not elected?
Well, I don't have a problem with that because I've always been very supportive of leadership, whether they're incoming, whether they've been outgoing. Never believe in stepping on anybody's toes. You push yourself over to the side and you still roll up your sleeves and help. And my association knows that I'm always there to do that. That's called a team member. That's what we do. We're all in this together.
Thank you.
I will continue to support the CRS and the leadership. I believe in the growth and our organization. I will continue to bring in members and tap other potential leaders that I feel would be great to serve within our organization. I would support it 110%. There's no doubt, none. Continue what I do.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, please. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Need some water?
Do I say 867-5309? Can't help it, I'm a music person. I'm Susan Summers from New York, Albany, New York, not downstate. But my question is, how do we keep from being, I'm state president for New York, how do we keep from being isolated as far as, one thing that Holly did, I think it was Holly that created this CRS major donor pin, which I thought was great for RPAC. Mm-hmm. How do you feel the best way? I think with RPAC, my opinion is, if we can have CRS and RPAC, it just makes more of a connection to our members. Mm-hmm. So do you have any ideas about how we can continue that process?
Continue the process of collaborating with other organizations, or continue the process of
to
communication
make that important connection between RPAC and CRS.
And RPAC. So, obviously, I'm a RPAC major investor. I'll be walking tomorrow on Hall of Fame. So I serve on the RPAC Participation Committee at the NAR level. I'm the state of Tennessee RPAC trustee. RPAC is a huge passion for me. When I got my license, the first committee I served on at the local board was RPAC. My mother came from Cuba, and her home and my family's business was taken away from her. My grandmother stuck her on a plane. They took all her jewelry. They wouldn't let her take her dog with her. They didn't let her take pictures, nothing. She came to this country with nothing. And her work ethic, her drive to be the best, and the first time we bought a house, home ownership and property rights are the most critical. I am super passionate about RPAC. and advocating for all for home ownership. It comes from deep within. And the biggest way to wealth building in the country is through buying a home. So we have to protect and advocate for home ownership rights. So that's RPAC. I'm also a member of NARP. I'm also a member of Women's Council. I'm a member of REBI. There's a lot of different organizations that we can collaborate with and bridge those, but RPAC specifically, that pin that Holly did is, you know, and my agents, when they get that pin, everybody's like, this is so awesome. So again, bridging and keeping that connectivity and recognizing our efforts in the industry is huge. So, but internally too, I loved the recognition for us as RPAC. I love the recognition that we do as new members joining, and Tricia, you know, bringing them up at celebration. And I think there's more we can do with onboarding of, you know, new members to RRC and recognition, which we do with the new designees, and maybe doing some additional things there, which I know that's a little bit off, but again, it's just recognition and tying in different things coming into the organization.
Thanks, Deborah.
Okay, RPAC is near and dear to my heart. I've been given to RPAC my entire real estate career. I walked the Hall of Fame last year. So my plaque is up there on the top of the building. And I think it's very, very important for us to raise awareness of RPAC. We've always done it at our local board. I think that what we should be doing here is maybe at our meetings and at our installations, we should be announcing who is an RPAC major investor so that everybody sees how many RPAC major investors are in the room. We are big. Our RRC is known to have mostly major investors because we are invested in our business. And if you are invested in your business, you're going to invest in RPAC as well. So giving back to the PAC is very, very important. People ask me, what political party am I? I'm not any political party. I say we're nonpartisan, bipartisan. It doesn't really matter what your party is, because what it matters is that you stand up for home ownership and private property rights. We go into your office, I'm an FPC, I'm a key contact. It's very, very important that you know what we're there for, and they know that you can reach out to me. So let's together raise the value of our PAC.
Thank you. That's all the questions we're going to take for today. We do have that meet and greet afterwards. If you've got more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to them when we do our meet and greet. But right now, we're going to let each candidate start with their closing 1-minute statement.
You get to go first. I feel like I've been up here quite a bit. Again, I come to this position having served on the board of directors last year. I am grounded in our mission and vision. I have worked on the strategic plan. I have listened to the PAGs. I've listened to our committees. I've sat in our RVP meetings, and I have talked to many of you. I feel that we have an opportunity right now, as we've discussed and talked about over this last several minutes, that we have this opportunity to truly be the leader in this industry. And the window with everything that's happening in July and coming forward over these next couple years, again, growing our membership and addressing our education as the pinnacle and the top gold standard in the industry, and leadership development. Again, it goes back to what I had said earlier, was we just need to be grounded in that and find ways to listen to how we've done it in the past and chart the course for the future. And I would hope that you would vote for me for first vice president, and I will help chart that course. Thank you.
Thank you. And Bonnie?
I want to first thank everybody for being here today and the staff for putting this together. Thank you very much. But I want to close this with saying that please vote for Bonnie Medviner for your first vice president, because I come with experience, knowledge, passion, and integrity. I care about the members. I don't only talk the talk, I walk the walk. I've been a state president, I've been an RVP for 3 years, I've been every position in my local board, so I have the experience of what it takes to bring this RRC to the next level. We need experience, and I come to you with experience and integrity. I care about the members. I am one of you. I am walking the walk, and I talk the talk, but I don't just talk the talk because I'm a working realtor out there. And people come to me because they know that I'm part of them. Now let's all do this together. Vote.
Okay, everybody. So what I'd like to do, and Deborah, go ahead and come up here. What I'd like to do is have the board of directors stand, and I'd like to give a round of applause for everybody. For those who are running, that would mean you too, Allison. Go ahead and stand so everybody knows who you are. Perfect. Okay. So, again, the meet and greet is afterwards. We really appreciate it. You two can step down. Thank you very, very much. And let's see, Bonnie, I put your stuff right here. There you go. And so the next thing is voting. First thing is get all your state to come out and vote. It's so important. So when you get home, or this afternoon, you're going to get a link. It starts at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, which we're very close to. You'll be able to vote at that point in time. We are a unique organization, as everybody has said today, because we are recognized in Section 3.2 of our bylaws that anybody who is a member in standing and in good standing is going to be able to vote. It will also start at I lied to you. It's 2 p.m. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It's not 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Sorry, it's 5 p.m. It's not right now. Anyway, so the other thing is if you opted in for texting, you'll get it on your text. And the other thing is if you have any questions on this, you just go to crs.com/election. I'd like to say thank you to the Leadership Development Committee for doing all their due diligence. It is a genuinely hard decision to bring this board of directors and these first 5 presidents together, and they did a beautiful job. So I'm going to hand this over to Tricia, and I get to get off the stage.
Thank you again, Margie. Susan, I got your number. 8675309. I know Rick Springfield was in Hawaii, like I saw him 2 weeks ago. I know that's not in song, but he sang it. Oh, anyway, just wanted to share that. All right, now it's time to deliver committee reports. When I call your name, can you please go to the lectern there to present your report? And if you could please limit your presentation to 2 minutes. First up is Barbara Wilson for Lead Generation class.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this morning's class, how many was in class today? Phenomenal class, great speakers. Thanks to Frank Thesarios, hopefully I didn't slaughter his name, and James Nellis for 101 ways to engage your sellers and buyers. So I have a top 20 takeaways. Number 1, happy hour for your vendors. Your vendors do give you referrals, and if they're not, you need to be talking to them about that. RPR market trends, script writer. The focus on the top 3 areas you want to market to. Happy house anniversary cards. A local artist scavenger hunt where the artist gives away one piece of their local art. It benefits them, and it's a little happy fun event for your clients. Portraits of clients in front of their home. Going away party for your sellers after contract acceptance. I love that one. Doing that before all of the fun inspections start. Ask for Google reviews after contract acceptance, not just at close of escrow. That's when they're the happiest, they're most excited. Go to HUD.gov. They have a bunch of checklists that you can make your own for marketing. Do a downsizing seminar. There's so much in downsizing, especially in your active adult markets like Arizona. and do your first-time home seller seminar. You know, you always think about the first-time home buyers. Well, there are first-time home sellers. Simple gifts, thinking of you touches are so powerful. Breaking news videos and how it impacts your buyers and sellers, and make sure that you're hyper-local. One of my other favorites. In my community, there's a ton of dog. So do a yappy hour at the dog park. Bring pizza and doggy biscuits. Number 14, bring open houses back to the table. Hold an open house for 8 hours on Saturday and Sunday. You can schedule with different people, so you're not doing the whole thing. But that's going to let the potential sellers in your neighborhood say, hey, they're doing something different. And then also hold a separate one just for the neighbors. Shoot video in 4K 60. You'll see it at the top right of your phone, on your iPhones. And only do them vertical and try to keep them 90 seconds or less. Use QR Monkey to put your photo on your QR code for your websites, blogs, social media. Video edits, use CapCut, B-roll, Pixel Cut, and Boomerang Direct. Tips is doing how-tos, tips and checklists for video and blog posts. Send out cards. Let's see, using your client's Facebook page to get a photo and say something personal about it and send it. They'll love that. And then last but not least, something to really think about. There are 1.65 million realtors, 172 million potential buyers. That equates to one realtor for every 108 people. You need to make yourself top of mind. And that's it.
Thank you, Barbara. Next is Kim Barthouse, who will give a regional vice president's update.
Good afternoon. The RVP committee met and we reviewed statistical data on the budgeted versus actual activities within each state for the first quarter. This included the assessment of courses and events, as well as sponsorship revenue that has been received within the first quarter. One of my favorite parts of this meeting is the RVPs go around the room and we share activities that each state has had, whether it's an event or in a course. We share our successes, our challenges, and I will tell you, there are a lot of creative things that are taking place, a lot of neat events. And one of the things that was important to us is to share that with each other so we don't have to necessarily recreate the wheel, that we can share with other states. And lastly, the group discussed strategies to enhance membership recruitment activities within the state networks. An emphasis, was placed on the importance of articulating our why statement for RRC in order to resonate with potential members and foster engagement. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Next is the Election Guidelines Implementation Committee's report, chaired by Rory Dubin.
Thank you, Madam President and board and staff and members. For those of you who don't know, the primary role of the Election Campaign Guidelines Implementation Committee is to ensure adherence to the established election campaign guidelines during the election period. I'm pleased to report that this election cycle has proceeded with minimal incidents. Any of those that have occurred were corrected quickly. So I thank all the state presidents, instructors for complying when we did have to call about these minor incidents. In the coming weeks, following the conclusion of these elections, our committee will reconvene. Purpose of the meeting is going to be to review the existing guidelines, assess their effectiveness, and also consider any adjustments or improvements that are needed. And there are some suggestions that we will be discussing. We're also going to consider those adjustments and evaluate them, compile a set of recommendations. Those potential changes will be recommended to the Board of Directors for consideration. Again, we appreciate the cooperation and commitment of all the involved parties in maintaining fair and respectful election environment and ongoing through the rest of this election. As you saw, we have 6 very dynamic candidates. We have some passionate people that want to promote them. We just need to follow the guidelines, and we will have a very fair process and election, and I thank you for serving.
Thank you, Rory. Next to report is our Leadership Development Committee's Chair, Holly Woodward.
It's a little dangerous not having something to walk down with, right? When you've got 4-inch heels on. So, I am proud to give the update. Thank you, Madam President, for the Leadership Development Committee. We have been very hard at work. Margie touched on that just a few minutes. I don't think anybody really realizes when they agree to the position how much time, effort, and energy goes into it. We spend hours between looking at applications, between doing interviews, assessing, reassessing, looking at the future of council, and I think you can all agree that we had a tremendous success because of the candidates that you have in front of you today. So the first quarter was a huge success and the hours were well spent. We aren't done yet though. This happens to be a year where we will have the candidate for outside board of director, because we have an outgoing board of director, Brian Hughes, who's been fantastic the last couple of years. But we have an outside company that helps us tap into that, and we've used the same one for the last couple of years. So this year, in complete transparency, we went out for requests for proposals for several companies, and we will be using T360 and their talent program to find an outside board of director, and they are working diligently on that right now to bring candidates forward to us. And I can assure you, with the same diligence that we used to help bring these candidates forward, we will do the same thing to the board, to bring an outside board of director to the board for approval. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Our last and final report will come from our Finance Committee Chair, Teresa Pitt.
Thank you, Madam President. A friendly reminder, the Finance Committee will hold a meeting on Monday, May 6th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It is open to registrants who wish to attend. During the meeting, we will review the 2023 financials from a programmatic, operational, and audit perspective. Additionally, our investment advisor will provide us with an update on our portfolio. Our first meeting was held on April 16th. We held an orientation with the Finance Committee members. We covered policies, procedures, and roles related to the Finance Committee members and our responsibilities. We did a historical analysis of the finances and went over other essential information. The committee has added 3 meetings, which translates to 6 meetings this year, or a meeting will be held every other month. We will analyze quarterly statements and have 2 investment portfolio reviews. Later in the year, we will be taking a good look at the investment and reserve policies and recommending changes or modifications to the board if necessary. I want to thank all of the Finance Committee members for their service. And at this time, if you're in the room or all those that are attending, if you would please stand. Finance Committee members. I look forward to serving with you this year. Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Teresa. While the Realtor legislative meetings have not begun yet, I wanted to recognize our RRC representatives to NAR committees and recognize the importance of their seat because they ensure that council has a voice at the table. So if you are a RRC representative on a NAR committee, will you please stand? We'd love to recognize you. Thank you very much for your service. Now, y'all are probably wondering, how can I apply for a position next year? But as I look out into this room, I see a sea of current and past volunteers in this room. So I'd like to go ahead and ask that and encourage you to ask someone else to also join you and become an RRC volunteer as well. There's a lot of opportunity available. Tomorrow, you'll learn actually how many different opportunities there are, and there are a lot. So I just wanted to let you know that the volunteer appointments opens June 1st, so the application opens on the 1st of June. The communication will go out via email, and it will also be posted on our website, crs.com. So consider applying and encourage someone else to as well, especially if they're interested in something that we have to offer for next year, 2025. Can you believe that? 2025. Whew. This year is going by really quickly. Now, we'd like to go ahead. Oh, yes. Oh, no, NAR, oh. Oopsie, that's a typo. It's NAR 2024 committees. Yeah. I thank you, Rita. You read the screen. You know, we actually insert these little typos on our slide just to be sure you all are paying attention. You know, good job. Good job, Rita. Hey, I got mine. Suzanne and I got the same number. Okay, thank you very much. But this is a 2024 and yes. All right, so now let's go ahead and proceed with our RRC update. I'd like to call Jeff up to speak. Thank you.
So how many of you have been coming to Midyear so long, you count all the years and subtract 2 for COVID? Is that, for me, it's meeting number 22. So, you know, I think it'd be an understatement to say that a lot happened in 2023, both at RRC and NAR. But what I like about Midyear is it's just a good time to reset things and to move forward. So here's what I'm going to do. This is the 3rd meeting I've declared this, but no spin or happy talk. I'm just going to tell you how it is with the council, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And my past PowerPoints have been 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to keep this one at 15 unless Allison Wisnam wants to extract revenge and have the beeping timer go off halfway through it. So, okay, let's do a victory lap on Celebration in Las Vegas. How many of you went? No, I'm preaching to the choir here. So by the way, can you believe this was 63 days ago? I can't. But just a few highlights. We did the first ever graduation for new designees. And this addresses our strategic plan pillar of celebrating achievements. And, you know, most of you in here have been a CRS for a long time, so you kind of forget that magic of when you're your first pin. So it was great to see the 35 graduates come and walk across the stage. We also recognize our international attendees. You know, I look at this picture and I realize these people travel 15 to 20 hours on a plane. And to have them carry their flag across the stage is a big deal. And I think that was really cool as well. But also what I liked is we utilized our 2023 mastermind members to actually pick out the speakers. And the result was we had one of our highest rated sessions ever. So that's what happens when we have a good member-driven program. I think another neat thing is we utilize about half of our instructors, so it is a great place to check out the instructors and have a showcase of sorts. But that's Las Vegas. That's long in the rearview mirror. Next up is Nashville. And it's March, yes. March 17th through 19th. The calls for presentations are in about a month. You've got 2 months to apply. We have 45 speaker opportunities for 28 sessions. And we prefer to use CRSs for each and every session. Registration will open right after Labor Day. That will be our early bird or blue light special. You will not see it again. And just like last year, the best pricing is available through CRS Week, which is mid to late September. So I am very excited about Nashville. This is a really fun city if you haven't been there before. They usually have great weather in March, and I think it's dynamic. Also, another little geographical tidbit, 50% of the US population lives within 650 miles of Nashville, and 12 million people live in a 2.5-hour drive. So this might be a drive-to location. I want to talk about leadership development. You know, this is another part of our strategic plan. We inserted it into our mission statement, so we must act on it. Those of you who are state leaders, we've invested more in training. We've tripled the time from 11 hours to 30 hours annually. And this is divided into leadership skills and sort of chapter management skills. This is one of my favorite pictures of the year so far. It was held at Celebration for the first time. We're going to do it again in Nashville. And I didn't get to attend, but my understanding is it was held in sort of an RE bar camp type format. And it was very innovative. And again, this is not a one and done thing. We're committing to do it year after year. Another leadership development thing we did is we brought the board of directors meeting to Chicago for an orientation. And that was in January, so we're not doing architectural river tours or going to Cubs games. January is a pretty grim time to come to Chicago. And Tricia will be covering what happened there. But I just have to pause and say, hats off to the board of directors candidates and the first vice president candidates. It's not easy to serve on the board, and it's not easy to run either. And so I commend all of them. And the finance committee, we've decided to add a few meetings throughout the year. A lot of times we just cram everything into a 1-hour session at Midyear in November, and we want to allow for more time, and we've added 3 meetings. And so the whole idea here is we want to invest more in our leaders. And we must talk about investing in our leaders. I must talk about RPAC and do our annual bragging rights. April 30th, participation rate, 50%. 1.6 million invested by our members. 917 major investors and 612 President's Circle members. Yes, please. I don't want to be competitive or pit us against other organizations, but there's a certain organization that we jockey with number one. I don't know, Carolyn Altman, what organization that is, but thank you all for your investment in RPAC. The next slide has to do with our digital transformation. We underwent 3 simultaneous challenging changes last month. We had a new website, a new database, which is called an AMS, Association Management System, and a learning management system, which is called the Learning Portal. I got to tell you, this project was very complex. It was years in the making. And as far as technology goes, it was fairly smooth. Perfect? No. But the goal of technology is always to transition things without paralyzing the operation. And I want to congratulate staff because we pulled it off. And thank you. Yeah. So internally, what it does is it lays the groundwork for better operational efficiencies, but you're all like, well, what does it do for me? It is going to be a much better user experience. And state leaders, we spent a long time over the years listening to you, and I know the transition was not perfect, but what you're going to have are much better reports. I love the new microsites. I think they look great. and other tools to make the networks run easier. So I just want to thank you for your flexibility and patience during the transition. We really do appreciate it. But I'm saving the best for last in our tech touchdown, and that is our learning portal. And if you haven't done it already, tonight when you go back to your hotel room, just log on and check it out. Any course or webinar you've taken has successfully flipped over. It looks so much better than the last interface. You know, we call ourselves the gold standard. Well, it's got to have that look and feel, and it does now. And there's just little kind of nuggets that I think are real cool, like pre-course survey, post-course survey, immediate on-the-spot exam grading. It used to take us 2 weeks. Finally, we have an events calendar. Before I had to wait for an email from Paul Dahl. Now there's a nice calendar there. It's got a uniform look and feel, slides, handouts. If you haven't gone on it, please do. Just like Amazon, they know what you click on and they're going to recommend other courses. So we have this state-of-the-art system. But best of all are the CRS candidates who are not in the room. It's going to be so much easier. There's DocuSign affidavits when you need to send it to your broker, a progress checker, and this is just the beginning. We're going to have a lot more enhancements in the coming months. It's just not as clunky as it was before. Let's talk about marketing. We have been making this promise to you for a very long time because, after all, that's what you all do. You're in the marketing business. And you'll see we're sort of, I'd just say quietly refreshing our color palette a bit. We're adding those nice blue hues in there. You're going to see that logo lockup there, which we feel greatly reduces the previous brand confusion. We have been using our new taglines. The gold standard and CRS means business. We've been using that almost everywhere and having a uniform look and feel. And, you know, for state RRCs and for designees, we've got new branding guides that are coming out that we'll be communicating to you. And this summer, we're going to be working on certificate branding as well. So you'll see, I don't know if you've noticed, we've got some nice videos. We've got a lot of creativity, the little horoscope certifications thing. And I just think there's some real neat things happening on that front. So what's next? I could talk about this, but all you got to do is log on to your learning portal. It is all there. But in May, we have a buyer's advocate course. It's going to be held over 2 days, and it is the most customer-centric buyer's advocate course out there. It is the only course created and designed to address the lawsuit settlements. And it's going to have checklists and systems, and of course, Lee Barrett teaches it, and he does a great job. We've got a virtual summit on luxury marketing with, of course, the famous Jack Cotton. And Ivan Estrada, he wrote Brand with Purpose, and we've got a world-class lineup of speakers there. We've got an AI summit in August, a marketing virtual summit in October. So, you know, we sort of have a 6-month stretch now nationally where we don't see each other. So we are filling the calendar with a lot of neat events. But finally, if you have some free time this summer, our partner in Spain has an event which they call the Spanish Celebration, or as they say in Spanish, Emocionate. And I think last year we had about 20 to 30 CRSs from the United States go. Peter West was there. He was one of our keynote speakers there and did a great job. But we've got well over 1,000 loyal CRSs in Spain. And they modeled it on our own. And everything is exactly the same except the dinners start in double digits, which is torture. And let me tell you, they don't have drink tickets there. No drink tickets. You just, yeah, it's pretty free-flowing. So let me give you a membership update. If I've learned anything over the past year and a half is you all want to know how many members we have. No spin. Tell it how it is. Be transparent. Here it is. By the way, no more free members, but you know it's going to take some time to have them leak out of the bucket if they don't pay. But how many members do we have? Again, the number is more or less 25,000. We did okay in 2023. This is a breakdown because I think it's interesting to see RRC members, designees. We have emeritus and past presidents and international members. But this next slide is even more compelling. And This sort of shows 3 membership health barometers over a 6-year period. This is what tells you the story. Total membership, new designees, and retention. As you can see, you know, we do good in retention. Anything in the 80s and 90s in any association is great, so we're doing good on that. But you see a slow and steady, year upon year, membership drop. Our biggest drop was from 2018 to 2020, where we lost almost 5,000 members. And again, this conversation's for another day, but we changed our name. We had a maintenance requirement. We had a rocky technology switchover and more and more and more. But this is the number that really concerns me, and this is the new designees. We're recovering from COVID, but it is a tough slog. And you all might have your own narratives, but at headquarters, we don't have narratives. We just collect the data. And the data says that 78% don't renew because they retired, decided to leave the business, or they passed away. And we know from our member surveys that 60% of our members have been a realtor for more than 20 years, which, by the way, that makes sense due to our production requirements. 42% of our members are over 65 versus 17% of the US population being over 65. So this is the silver tsunami right in front of us. And it's fine, I'm just saying how it is, but unless we can find a way to fill that bucket, we are going to be in big trouble. And you know, operationally, we can get new technology, we can jazz up the marketing, we can make a few TikTok videos, but you know, ultimately, to get through this is going to be a cultural shift, and it happens at the grassroots level. It happens over years and years, and we need to find a way to embrace and serve our tenured members, and we also have to welcome in the new. So it's not an easy road ahead. You're all proud of your credentials. We need to make sure the next generation perceives it as well, because, you know, Oldsmobile made a great car, but the brand went stale. And so we'll be talking about that a little bit at the Board of Directors meeting. That is our #1 challenge. Last but not least, you know, we've been having a good conversation for a while now about the need to have a more sort of member-centric organization. You know, just 2 weeks ago, we celebrated Volunteer Week, and I can tell you as association staff, you know, we really do want volunteer input. You know, we need that feedback loop. By the way, if we didn't want that or need that, we probably wouldn't be working here in the first place. So we believe in this. We did a comprehensive audit of RRC's current volunteer opportunities, and I said to myself, yeah, I'll bet there's like 500 volunteer opportunities. We counted 926. And this includes state leadership, official committees, masterminds. It includes celebration speaker opportunities, a mentor program. We always forget that we have a mentor program. RRC reps to NAR committees, which we spoke about before. And we also, actually, we have 12 committees. And so 63 of all volunteer opportunities in 2025 require acting next month. And so my point here is not to convince you that everything's fine and we've got tons of volunteer opportunities. I would say operationally, we probably need to better articulate and communicate these opportunities we have and provide a clear and a long and a known path to these opportunities. And then this next slide here just shows you a breakdown of that. So this is the highlight from the past 5 months. Is in the middle of our technology project, we were all notified Friday, March 15th, about the NAR lawsuits being settled. And yes, that was only 6 weeks ago. And a lot of organizations in the realtor ecosystem sort of ran around like chickens with their heads cut off trying to find a smartly worded press release. But we decided to take a different approach with the leadership team and the staff. And we said, let's give our members free webinars. Let's give them cutting-edge information. So by the time Monday morning rolled around, Mel and her team rallied a lot of speakers and specifically instructors, and they all raised their hands. And we did 3 complimentary webinars within a month, impacting over 1,000 members. Frank Serio's webinar had 400 alone with 1,000 signing up. I didn't even count the number of times it can be repurposed for people who looked at that again and again. So the surveys said 96% said it was extremely useful to their business. And so I just want to thank the instructors and the staff for acting so quickly, because it was a very stressful time with the technology project, and it was just so good to see that happen so fast, and the leadership team as well. We all said, we got to act on this. And I just, in conclusion, that's sort of who we are, and that's what makes us different. And I think that's why we are the gold standard. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending today, and it's great to see you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Now, while the Board of Directors minutes are posted online at crs.com for any member to access, I'd like to cover a few key points, some key actions, so that you are aware. First of all, the NAR bylaws approval. As part of the new strategic plan, RRC inserted leadership development. I know you've heard those two words a lot. Into its revised mission statement on section 2.2 to read as follows. The Residential Real Estate Council is committed to the success of its members through education, leadership development, referrals, networking opportunities, and business resources. NAR approved these bylaws at the November 17th Board of Directors meeting in Anaheim. Next, wanted to talk about the governance PAG. Last spring, I felt that there was an important need to establish a governance PAG. And what does PAG mean? It is a Presidential Advisory Group. And this group was formed to address government-related issues at multi-levels. I'm very fortunate enough that we have Sandy McRae here with us today, for she is the chair of the governance PAG. And before I have Sandy come on, I just wanted to share that this particular group has worked relentlessly, hours on end, meeting twice a month for a couple of hours to discuss multiple issues and really looking at different things to help us improve as an organization. Sandy is going to come up and give a little bit of background, provide you folks with history, and some insight on what they have talked about. Before she comes to the podium, I know she said she didn't want me to do this, but I'm going to. Today is Sandy's birthday. Whose birthday? Jen's birthday too. Jen McClay. So, if you don't mind, let's all on the count of 3 say happy birthday, Sandy and Jen. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Sandy and Jen. Ha'olei lahana. Thank you, Sandy.
The reason I didn't want her to do that is because I don't know about Jen, but I don't count them anymore, you know. I'm done. I have a father who just turned 101 in March, and he decided that he's starting over. So he's won all over again. And who knows how long that may go. Well, thank you, Madam President. I just want to take a few minutes today to, first of all, acknowledge the PAG. The group that I've been working with, that I've been honored to work with, has been relentless in the work that we've been doing. It's been amazing. So if you are here, I'm going to read their names, and if you are here, would you please stand as well? Nicholas Chambers, Gonzalo Mejia, Mary McCall, Jerry Moskowitz, Sandra Nickel, Lisa Parento, Teresa Pitt, Kelly Phillips, Gary Rogers, Fiona Tessera, and Jen Ward. And I know there's just a few here. Thank you. These are people with brilliant minds, and it has been honestly my honor to be able to chair that group and be able to work on some really, truly important topics. So what I'd like to do really quickly, and I don't think they're going to cut me off, but I was asked to stay to 2 minutes, so we'll see if we can do that. I wanted to give just a brief review of what the PAG has been doing since its formation in July of last year. At our first meeting, the very first meeting, we decided the most important thing that we should probably do is a survey. So some of you may remember filling out a survey last summer. That was the beginning of the process. All of the members were surveyed and asked some very important questions about governance-related issues. After the initial survey, we had some very serious and good discussions about a few fairly minor bylaw changes, and those were mentioned earlier. So we made some recommendations, an initial round of recommendations to the board, and those things passed in the fall. And one of the most important changes that happened was that the board would receive 30-day notice, but so would all of you if there were bylaw changes that were coming forth. And so that's huge. So when we make our next round of recommendations, you too will receive a 30-day notice of what those recommendations are. So after this initial recommendation to the board in the fall, the PAG continued their discussion, focused on 3 governance-related issues that surfaced as a result of the initial survey. And here are what those 3 issues were. Number 1, the members feel there is a need for improved two-way communication between the general membership and the national leadership. So a conduit, a feedback loop. Number 2, there is a need to return to a more member-centric organization. And number 3, there is a need for better training for volunteer leaders at all levels. Now, we've been giving updates to the board along the way, and much of what we've been talking about, the board has already started to make some changes, which has been great. In January, the PAG decided that we wanted to conduct some additional research, and we put together 3 focus groups. And these focus groups were designed to kind of test the PAG's assumptions and theories and see if we were on the right track with some of the recommendations that we were coming up with. This involved about 30 members, and if you happen to have been on one of those focus groups, would you please stand? I don't know if anybody, yes, there's. Oh, yay, yes, okay. And there were some great discussions that came out of that. And what I want the 3 of you to know, and all of the people that participated, is we are listening, we heard it, and we are using all of those comments and suggestions to help come up with our next round of recommendations. So the discussions that we've had in the PAG in the last 3 months has focused on the 3 previously stated issues, taking into account the suggestions and the ideas that were offered by the focus groups. So what happens next? Well, we are about to come to an end. We are about to be done. But the PAG is now working on our final round of recommendations to offer the board by the end of June. So again, you will all receive that 30-day notice. If there's a bylaw change that's involved in that recommendation, you will know about that just as the board does. But we have a variety of things that we are recommending, some of which you will hear about tomorrow. So can I plug tomorrow? Tomorrow at the board meeting, are you going to do that?
No, you go.
Okay, so tomorrow at the board meeting, the board will take a recess after several business items, and we will have a focus group tomorrow, and an opportunity for you to hear some of the things that we are looking at, possibly recommending. And we do want your input. We want to hear if we're on the right track or what you're thinking about some of the thoughts that we have come up with. So please join us tomorrow. Several of the PAG members will be there tomorrow, more than what's here today, and we will open up that discussion and get your input. So I know I went over my 2 minutes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
The birthday girl was allotted a little extra time. Thank you very much, Sandy. You're very appreciated. I wanted to make sure that you all knew where you can actually see the announcements for the 30-day notification communication if there are any bylaws changes. Make sure that you are looking at every Tuesday, our RRC Connect comes out. And if there is any notifications, 30-day notifications, you will see it there, and also in our press release as well. So be on the lookout, okay? Make sure you read those every Tuesday. Next item of business is I have to put my glasses on for these. Approval of Finance Committee motion in December at the Board of Directors meeting. The board made a motion to approve the recommendation for the Finance Committee as follows. It is Policy 42 in our Policies and Procedures Manual. The action motion, it was moved, seconded, and carried to recommend to the RRC Board that the Finance Committee adopt an annual review of the investment policy statement. Next, executive session in December, our meeting. At the December Board of Directors meeting, we convened in an executive session where the topics discussed were confidential. However, I'll provide a very brief overview of the proceedings. Together with outside RRC counsel, the board conducted a scenario planning exercise outlining worst-case scenarios and potential RRC impacts with the verdict from the Sitzer-Burnett trial in Missouri back in October. Jeff had touched upon the board orientation that took place this past January, because as he had also mentioned, it is council's commitment to integrate leadership development, because it is in our mission statement. A comprehensive board orientation, therefore, took place. The session was led by a facilitator featuring guest speakers, covered a range of vital topics, including building board culture, succession planning, volunteer recruitment, governance best practices and duties, general board obligations, as well as building consensus and fundamental parliamentarian procedures. Now, at our March board meeting, we had a very healthy board meeting. We focused on policy manual reviews, and 13 policies were updated. RRC's updated policies and procedures manual can be found on our website. So like Jeff said, check out our new website and you will find our revised policies and procedures under the About tab titled Governance and Reports. Current Board of Directors, Brian Hughes and Tanya Thompson, will summarize the updates. Brian.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I want to hear more about Idaho. Yeah. No, I live just a few hours away, and actually the Mountain West is great. It's probably the most diverse geography. It actually doesn't look flat and all potatoey like that. There are some places that do, though. Now it's all houses, so it's great for real estate because everybody from Seattle and California are all moving to Idaho. So as we kick off a few of these, just so you're aware, we do want to appreciate individuals from both the PAG as well as the executive staff who made some recommendations to the board on some policy updates. And again, different from bylaws, policy updates are within the purview of the board to approve on. So just highlighting a few here, and then Tanya will take over. First one's in Policy 8, and you can see that one in there, regarding antitrust. And we found in our review that the RRC's existing wording was more detailed than that from NAR. So we effectively left it as is, but we did beef up with some additional verbiage as necessary to kind of deal with modern times. The second one was in Policy 12 regarding gift giving, gift receiving. There are limits in the policies on the dollar value of gifts that can be received, and that was increased from $50 to $100 just to keep up with inflation. Policy 16 had to do with director absenteeism for various meetings. Over the last couple of years, we found that we've had more meetings than were, I guess, typically scheduled. And so we wanted to have clarity, given the volunteer nature of the board of directors and their opportunities or their need to maintain their existing business. In Policy 19, we added a requirement that parliamentarians be present at all board meetings. This was done in practice from spring of last year, but this time it was just codified, or at this point it's codified into our policy manual. We moved to Policy 27, and this was a clarification that regarding the Leadership Development Committee, that the first vice president is a co-chair, and that they play a significant role in the committee. Policy 29 regarding the RVP committee, it was updated to reflect that the president's, in the event of a departure, that the president fills that vacancy. It was also verbiage around expenses for that role in national meetings, and that there must be a purpose to the expense, business purpose, excuse me, for that to be reimbursed by the RRC. And lastly, in Policy 30 regarding regions, Wyoming was added. Anybody from Wyoming? Woohoo! All right, driven through there a few times. It was added in 2023 and added as part of Region 8 so that we can maintain the geographical intent of the IRC region hierarchy. So I will leave with that.
Thank you, Brian. Tanya?
You're all probably tired of sitting now, so I'll talk fast. Okay, Policy 31. RVP Selection Subcommittee. We clarified this to state that not all candidates are interviewed, and those applicants who are interviewed will be interviewed via video, not phone, and really this is just putting into place what's actually been happening in practice. Policy 35, travel. We updated that to require, I might be part of why this is happening, but to require that there be communication from a volunteer leader who is not able to get their reimbursement request in a timely manner. We're trying to get a little bit more flexibility into those deadlines, so just please communicate with your staff. There's an appendix to the travel policy that had a number of changes. One, more flexibility was given to members who are purchasing regular versus basic economy tickets for flights, so that verbiage was expanded. Also, verbiage was edited to denote that if a member wants to upgrade their seating, pay for advanced seating, early bird check-in, lounges, things like that, you certainly can do that. It just cannot hit the RRC expense accounts in any way. Driving. Sometimes a member would opt for driving to an event as opposed to flying. In those cases, the verbiage is changed to ensure that it makes economic sense. So we would like to see date and time-stamped screenshots to show that to the staff. Regarding hotels, a requirement that any of the funded leaders refrain from staying at a hotel that is not the RRC hotel. We do have room blocks that we need to fill, so we'd like you to stay here. checks. This one is verbiage. We will not be cutting any checks. Everything's direct deposit, which probably everyone prefers. Policy 38, the unofficial social media groups policy. The staff did bring recommendations to us for changes to this policy, but we decided to leave it as is. Policy 36 is industry advocacy contribution. This policy obligated RRC to contribute $5,000 to the Corporate Ally Program. We've scrapped that, and it is decided that RRC will make that decision during the budgeting process. Lastly, Policy 20, nominations and elections. So a new timeline has been established whereby the application process and timeline is being moved up for both Board of Director and FVP candidates. So the application process will begin in September rather than November. The in-person interviews with the LDC will take place in November rather than at Celebration. And this will give, so the candidate announcements will also take place at the time that they do the interviews. The campaign season is going to be extended to be a bit longer. So now the candidates will be able to campaign at Celebration and get in front of a larger group of voters. And lastly, the voting will be held in the spring rather than May. And this is rationale is because the legislative meetings in the future will be in June versus May. Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Tanya. 13 policy changes. If you guys have any questions, we are here to answer. This meeting is, I'm so sorry, this brings me to the Board of Directors meeting tomorrow. It is open to registered and paid attendees. We will do that focus group that Sandy had mentioned, and so we certainly are looking forward to having that particular session. So please come on over with your think tanks. We are ready. We'll be writing notes down, and we are going to be listening, active listeners as well. Don't forget to remember to stick around and to meet the candidates and interact with them as well. And before we conclude, I'd like to go ahead and recognize our amazing volunteers. Our success with council is because you all make it successful. You make our family, our Ohana, so unique. And it's talk of the town, like everybody wants to be a part of this family, right? If you are a volunteer, RVP, state president, you are part of the governance PAG, please stand. We'd like to recognize and cheer us all on as we say, thank you. Thank you so very, very much. And last but not least, I would be remiss if I did not mention and acknowledge our RPAC Hall of Fame members who will be recognized in Washington, D.C. Oh, here. Oh, the script. It's late. Remember, I was up at 12:30 a.m.? No, please stand and be recognized for your achievement. Congratulations. What an accomplishment. This concludes our member update, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow or at RRC Night Out. Take care.